what's up guys? I'm back to give you another tutorial, another impromptu tutorial. It is 1:30 in the morning, so excuse me for my slurred words. I want to take you guys through making a J.J. Abrams style Star Trek, like from director, like really simple stuff, but it may take a while. It shouldn't take a while. Alright, so first things first, we're going to make a new composition. In that composition, we're going to 1920, 1080, whatever. I'm going to name this main because I'm weird, and that's what I call it. So now in main, we're going to come over here, and I'm going to make a new solid. Layer, new, you know what, let's make a new text layer. And I'm going to type from director. I'm a horrible typist. From director. Alright, so I'm going to grab that. Alright, so I'm going to turn on title action slip just so we can get like right in the middle. Put that right there. And that's about the size that I want it because I'm weird and I like it to be kind of small sometimes. And that's like that because I ran through this tutorial a little bit before I started. So, okay, and I'm going to type Ramon Hewlett because it's a self-promotion. Yeah, let's call it self-promotion. Let's call it that. So I'm going to come over here. Just put my name right there. Now this is a Calibri, whatever you want to call it. I think that works for like that type of from director pretty darn well. And then this, I'm actually going to change it to my font of choice. It's Century Gothic. Yeah. But first I'm going to make sure all these things are 100. Make sure that looks good. And what that's going to do is that's going to change your like width or whatever, you know, make it fat letters, or if you want like, you know, like really tall lanky letters. Lanky letters, that should totally be a thing. But anyway, I'm going to bring this about right here, and then I'm also going to just like bring this in a little bit. Actually, I'm going to click Y to access the pan behind tool so that I can make the like scale thing like about the middle, about there. So I'm going to take this and just lower, just make it smaller. You know, we want people to like tap, because like thing about this, a lot of these things is like they're going to be on like a big screen, you know, usually like the from director titles are usually on like a big screen. So when you're on a big screen, you can make things a little smaller because people can still read it unless they're really old. And if you're really old, why are you watching Star Trek anyway? No, that's completely untrue. You should totally watch Star Trek. When I'm like 80, 90, if I make it that long, I'm totally going to be watching Star Trek because it's good stuff. So anyway, from director Ramon Hewlett, Super Bane, whatever. We have that. Now the next thing I wanted to make is something that's not actually in this, you know, the Star Trek the titles. I know I'm like a second step, and I'm already going off book. But anyway, we're gonna come down here. We're gonna make a layer, new, solid, or a Control Y for you awesome people. I'm gonna call this particles. I spelled it right. Look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna type in particular. Yo, we're gonna be using a lot of third-party plugins in this one. I mean, you don't have to do this step, guys, but it's pretty cool. So don't miss out. Don't be that guy who misses out. So emitter, that should be fine. We're gonna scrub through here and kind of see what we're working with, and that's fine for the moment. Actually, we're gonna make that a box emitter. Then we're gonna make the emitter size X. Yeah, we're an X. Just make sure it takes up your screen. Pretty much, you know, a good amount, and then Y, make sure that takes up your screen. You can hold shift to make it go a little faster, you know, if you want to like do one of those. It's faster than that, so I'm gonna take mine to about there. Then imageable size Z, just to give it some diversity, give it some space, give it some rules. So then I'm gonna come over here to particle. Okay, and the particle, let's see, we have our comp set here at 10 seconds, and that's a pretty good length, I guess. But so let's make our life. Actually, I'll do this in like order so you guys can really like see. So I'm gonna make the size like maybe like 1. I want these particles to be super tiny. Maybe bigger than 1. Maybe 2. 2's okay. Let's go in the middle. 1.5. Yeah, super tiny stuff. You know, barely see all that jazz. Now we want the size random to be just a little bit, or whatever, you know. It needs to fit your title, your text, okay? And I feel like this fits, like, because our text is so tiny and we want everything else to be, you know, we just want it to fit. Opacity, I'm going to lower the opacity just a little bit, and then I'm going to increase its randomness a little bit more. Now, come down here. Don't worry about the color, leave that white. Okay, so now I'm gonna come to about at the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna click the stopwatch there, and then I'm gonna click U down here to bring up like all our keyframes. And I'm gonna click page down to go step forward one keyframe. I'm gonna click this, and I'm gonna make this 0. Then I'm gonna drag this all the way over here so that we can kind of see it. Make sure that we can kind of see it. That, I guess that doesn't work. Okay, so I bring this over here, and we can still see all our particles and all of that a little bit, but and they're gone because the life is gone. So we're just gonna increase the life a lot. See how that's going. It's not enough particles, huh? So we're gonna come back here to 100, increase the particle count by a lot. I'm gonna come here and we kind of see our particles. I think that's a little too many, so I'm gonna come back and make sure it's exact. Man, not that many. Let's see. Almost, maybe like a little less. Yeah, okay. So now I'm gonna come up here to velocity, and I'm gonna click. Let's go with 20. Oh, we want them to like barely be moving. That's okay. That's not bad. A little dust on my screen. I'm thinking it's particles. Yeah, that's not bad. Oh, we want them to be like super like slow. So super slow, something like that. Yeah. So I'm a fan of that. I'm gonna fit this. I'm gonna make sure I see him. Okay, so I'm a fan of that. So and then to solve the whole no particles, a lot of particles problem, I'm just gonna drag this and push it over to where the start is particles already moving. Then we're just gonna drag that, make that fit the comp. Everything seems to be working all right. Yeah, the particles are moving, sort of, a little bit. Fan of that. I'm a fan of that. All right, let's make this like 17, just because. Yeah, that's much better. All right. Okay, life is good. You definitely don't need 22 seconds if you don't need it in your comp, but it can't hurt. It may hurt a render time. It's fine. So we have our particles. That's pretty much done. I'm actually going to put this behind everything. I'm going to make a new solid. Call this BG. Leave it black. Put this behind everything. And next, we're going to add our... You know what? Let's do something else that wasn't in the Star Trek thing. In reality, guys, Star Trek thing is pretty much a texture, a lens flare, and cool titles. I'm gonna take it a little bit further and make it something a little more cool, or I guess up to you, whatever. All right, so we have that. And now I'm gonna make. And this is like a technique that I just figured out, I guess, or just like started using regularly. But I'm gonna call this the Come over here, come here, and I'm gonna click enter. I'm gonna call this the, let's see, reveal mats. Yeah, let's call it that. That works for me. So I'm gonna put this right in front of. I'm gonna put from director in front of, on top of Ramon, because that's actually how it is. The reveal mat. I'm gonna turn that off for a second. And this is going to be the reveal map for Ramon Hewlett. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it to the start position that I want it to be at. So I want it to start about right here. I'm going to give it just a little bit more length than my actual name, just for safety, in case we want to change it or move it later. But at the same time, I don't want it to take up the whole frame, and you'll see why later. That's the first. We have that there. Next, I'm going to come over here. Type in roughen edges. Yeah, you know what's happening. So we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna click this. I'm gonna click solo, and then I'm gonna click this. So essentially, what I did is that I click roughen edges, and then I click solo, so that we don't, that's all we see. And then I click the transparency thing because we already have, because our composition has a black background, and we wouldn't be able to see anything. I'm kind of want to see what we're about to do. And so as you can already see, it's more rough, make it a little bit more of a thing. But what I want to do is I want to make it really cool. So I'm going to click cut. I'm just going to increase the border a lot more, the complexity a lot more. Let's see, it's not like a good medium there. Right there. see, spiky, got a spiky, little spiky. Let's see, maybe we can like scale that back just a little bit. I mean, I like it. That should be good. Complexity, let's make that like 2. Let's make it like 3. Yeah, border. If I can make that a little, yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I am a fan of that. Okay, so now the thing is, this kind of expanded past our thing here, right? Our mat, our mask, per se, or whatever. I mean that's its actual name. I shouldn't say per se. Anyway, so I'm gonna click that, and then we can kind of see that it's kind of like spilling into that. So I'm gonna click Shift, or I'm gonna hold this, and then I'm gonna click Shift, and I'm just gonna like put that up to where we can't see it anymore, right? Okay. So now I'm gonna click M to bring up mask path. And the thing is, we want this to reveal it. So this right here is going to be our last, frame. That's where we want it to end. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take it about 2 seconds. Okay. Click that, and then I'm going to come back to the beginning. I'm going to double click our mask and bring it down to where we want it to start. Make sure everything and nothing is seen. So we have that. Okay. Reveal matte. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this an alpha inverted. And click spacebar, click play, and just kind of play that through. And look at that. Look at that. That's so cool. Look at that. Oh, that's sci-fi. Let's see. Okay, so we have that, and that's kind of cool, right? That's it's kind of like very organic, like it's revealing itself. But now I want to kind of make. I was kind of digging the border before. How wide it was. So we have that, and then it ends up there. It's like, that was cool. But you know what? I wanna take it up a notch. Take it up a notch a little bit. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna click G for the pen tool. Just kind of wanna like make some points. Make some points in there. I wanna add a little bit more of a, how do I say, randomness? Yeah, randomness. So I'm gonna click V. I'm just gonna like give it some pointers. So it appears like it's a little bit more random. Bring that down, bring that up, that down. Okay, so now, let's see. It's gonna start like that, and come up, and then it's just gonna like do that. And ideally, you would have done that first, but maybe I won't like the way it looks like that. And we do. See, we have a little bit more right there. And I can also play with this a little bit, kind of see where everything is going. So that's gonna like come up, right? Then it's gonna come down, and yeah. I kind of like the animation now. I'm kind of digging it. Bring that down, and then I like that it's kind of random. All right, so let's bring that up right here. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm a fan. I can dig it. All right, so we have that. Now let's see. That looks pretty dope. But the next thing I'm gonna do is I want to click P for position, then toggle switch modes on the name. I'm gonna click this here. Let's just see. Just make sure it still looks good. Okay. Sometimes when I make it 3D, it just wants to mess up. It just wants to mess up. But anyway, I'm gonna click the position there, and I'm going to bring this. We can kind of see that evolving, but this is where we want it to end. So I'm gonna make sure I click there. Make sure I have 2. So I'm gonna come back, and I'm going to just push it in the background, just a little bit, so that as it comes up, it kind of like glides up, or comes from the darkness, just a little bit, really subtle. I'm actually gonna bring this back and make it a little less subtle. So I'm gonna bring that back a little bit more. So it's gonna come up from let's see. I gotta see it in like full, let's see. Actually, let's see. Yeah, I can dig it. Check that out. Alright, look at that. Okay. Ooh, remote unit from director. Alright, and that looks pretty cool. So we're gonna take that. I'm gonna click U to get those position keyframes. I'm just gonna copy them. Then I'm gonna come up here to from director. I'm gonna make sure that's a 3D layer. Then I'm just gonna I actually want from director to come in first, so I'm gonna take this, both my name and the reveal mat. I'm just gonna push that in the distance, cause let's get the from director right, and then Ramon Heal. Yeah, that works. So we're gonna have that, and we're gonna make that be the first thing that kind of pops up. And because those are different position keyframes, or really because the pan behind tool is being a dork. Okay. Oh, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Control Z. We're not gonna do that. Click U. We're not gonna do that at all. So I'm gonna come back here, and I'm just gonna Control Z everything. Wait, just start over. Okay. I come back to V. So we have that, and then from director Ramon Hewitt. So we have that now. I'm gonna come to the reveal mat. I'm gonna duplicate it, put that on top, and toggle switch modes. Let's go with an alpha inverted. And the reveal mat here is over here. We're gonna bring this over here and just kind of see where that lies. And because it's like super above, I'm click U. I'm going to mask path. I'm just gonna like take that out. I'm gonna bring this up. Now I want it to start. Let me start here. So mask path, keyframe that, and then by the time we get about here, I would want it to be full about here. So now we're gonna take the mask again. Just shift D-pad up. That may be a video game term, but whatever. You guys are smart. You guys get it. Click that off and just want to see from director. Ramon Hewitt. Yeah, that works for me. From director. Actually, I'm gonna want to move this in a little bit more. Just till it down. Got this bad boy. Pull that in more. So it's gonna be like from director. Like before that light starts, so about right there. This starts coming in. It's like from director. Ramon Hewitt. Yeah, that works for me. Works for me. Actually, I can just bring this over a little bit more. So like from director, bring this over. You know, and just play with it. I mean, like if you have like a super long name, or you're like from executive producer who did this on the set by bringing cheese. Even you want to give them a little bit more time to read that before you bring in something else. But I'm gonna do that from director. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Fan of that. Click S for save, or Control S for save. It's taking a minute. Alright, cool. So we have that from director Ramon Hewitt. Sweet. But now I need to do that same thing that I did with the first one. Now that it's a 3D layer, yeah. I'm going to click P, or a P is already selected. Nice. So I'm going to have that from director Ramon Hewitt. So right here is where I want it to end. I want it to end here. You know, that's where that ends. So make sure that position's like the same. And actually, I want this to end about a little earlier. Have that in here. So our first position, we just push that back a little bit. Just push it back a little bit so that it pops up from director Ramon Hewitt. So let's see how this looks. From director Ramon Hewitt. That animation may be a little bit too fast. So mask path. Give this a little time. So should I give that a little time? And let's see. See how this bad boy looks. Again. Alright, okay, I'm a fan. Maybe some tweaks later after we add some more things, but I'm a fan. So we have that. Another thing is, another thing, guys, that I completely forgot to mention because I already had the stuff on, was your kerning right here, or your tracking or whatever. That's really what gives it that Hollywood look. I mean, if you start at 100 here, it is not gonna look as good. I mean, you know, depending, but like that, you go from like, okay, where are we? You go from like, I was at what, 399 here to 100. It's a whole different feel. The same thing with from director, which is also 399. I mean, if you want to use 399, go for it. All right. Anyway, so we have that. That looks good to me. We have that. Boom. Oh, look at that. Look at those particles moving in the background. I actually want to make those particles a little bit slower. Velocity emitter. Velocity. Let's make it like 10. Like so people will be looking at like, are those particles moving? Oh my gosh. So we have that. That looks good. That looks good. And now I wanna add something that you know, I just thought of. So where is it? They had one called fish. There's this one called fish bait, and fish bait is awesome. So I'm gonna grab fish bait, and pretty much it just like skews your text, right? So like imagine your text coming up like that's the wrong button. Okay, imagine your text coming up like this. So like boom, and then it's like oh it's all wonky. It's all wonky. But you know what? I'm gonna click U on this. Or actually, I'm gonna click something different. Come down here and particular transform. Where is it? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm gonna click U over here. Sorry guys. Sometimes you know it's early. So I have this. We're gonna go to animator skew axis, and we see that the skew is at the skew. Never gonna say that right. The skew is at 15. So right here, I kind of want I wanted to give it like a second to where you know, but like right after the wipe happens or the reveal happens, I wanted to have like a second of just like naughtiness. No, so I'm actually giving it a little bit more, and then over here, have it start here on 0. No, wait. No, wait. Okay. I'm gonna start here on a 17, and then the next thing over here when it's end on 0, right? So it's gonna come up and it's just gonna be like just like a little. It gives it just a little pop, so people look at it and be like, oh wow, I look at that. I look at that little pop. I look at the little pop. So we have some particles in the back. We have like this thing coming up like that, and it's like skewing, and it's like, oh man, and it's like from director Ramon Hewlett, and it's like, oh man, so I'm gonna save it, because I'm gonna save Nazi. And okay, so I have this, we have that, we have the particles, we have the background. Now I'm gonna make a new solid. You guys are like, he makes so many solids. I'm gonna call this OF for optical flares. And if you don't have optical flares, this tutorial is not for you, because optical flares totally makes this thing from, you know, really okay to super awesome. So I'm gonna take this and we're gonna go, ooh, transparency. And like, look at that, from director Ramon Hewlett, we're done, guys. Now I'm done. That's a joke. So I'm gonna click options. So we're gonna come up here and we're gonna find my favorite preset, and mini anamorphic. It's awesome. J.J. Abrams, anamorphic lenses. They're like two babies, but together, like twin babies, like two twin babies, like two pairs of. Anyway, so we're gonna click that, and we're gonna come over here, and we're gonna put it off to the side. Oh, we don't want like to see the lens flare. I mean, I guess we could say that that's like a planet. These are like stars, which it kind of looks like now. But anyway, so I'm gonna bring that over here, and usually I take off the hoop. I can't stand the hoops, but for you guys, this one time, you guys can get the hoop. This one time, so I'm gonna bring that over there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm going to bring this like this, bring this up a little bit. Yeah, up a little bit. Click position XY. Click center position. Click brightness. Okay, because we're about to animate, guys. That's right, we're gonna animate. So we're gonna bring this down, and it's gonna be like what? It's gonna be like from director Ramon Hewlett. And I want to be really subtle in that. I want the position just to move down just a little bit, right, like in between the from director Ramon Hewlett. So I'm gonna click U to bring up that thing. So we have that, and then it comes down. It's like from director Ramon Hewlett. Actually, that's too high. I want to make it a little bit more subtle, you know. So like it's gonna be like from director Ramon Hewlett. Boom. Okay, so I'm gonna take that and the keyframe assistant, easy ease, and just to make it like glide there, you know, like boom, like boom, like boom, then boom. All right, so we have that. Boom. Now we're gonna take the center position, just because it looks like, you know, the refractions or the whatever lens elements happen, but they just look like they aren't moving. Well, they are moving, but they aren't really like moving. You know what I mean. So we have this, and I'm gonna take the center position. I'm just gonna like move it down. As the thing comes down, I want the center position to move down. So we're just gonna like do one of those, which also makes Make it seem like it's not moving. Move it down and out. Down and out. Down and out. Boom. Delete this keyframe. Move this keyframe to fit this keyframe. Yeah. It can like leave a little bit later. Yeah. Let's do that. So we have that. We have that. So that this is gonna be like boom. From director Ramon Hewlett. Boom. That looks like it should have stopped. So we're gonna go like boom. So then what's happening is that people are concentrating on like that the animation, and then like this like slowly still like ascending. It's like, oh man, look at that. Boom. 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 So I'm gonna have this boom boom. Keyframe assistant, easy ease. Boom. And you know what? Now I'm come over here to flicker because everything should flicker. Speed, let's make it like 12. Amount, let's make it like 27. I see how this one's gonna look. So we kind of see the flicker. You see that flicker, and it's like, oh, look at that. You know, and it's small things like this that, you know, the optical flares allows you to do that really just adds like production value. Like people can be like, oh, he framed that. He made that flicker on by hand. No, guys, I didn't. But don't tell anyone that doesn't do the effects that. But actually now I actually want this position to move just down just a little bit, right? But like really subtly. So I'm gonna like bring that down, and then I'm just gonna stretch it out so that it comes down, then it just like it's still going. So it's like boom. Actually, let's make this down a little bit more so that it doesn't seem to feel like it's stopped like that much. It's gonna be like boom. From director Ramon Hewlett. Yeah. All right. Also, right here, right before like the name finishes, I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna click brightness there because I like how bright it is, and I like how bright it is over here. So I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna click that. And right in the middle, I'm gonna give it just like a little bit of a bloom, there. So it's gonna be like Director Ramon Hewlett. So like from Director Ramon Hewlett. Actually, let's get that bloom just a little bit more. I liked how subtle it was, but we want people to know. And now it's at 150, so we have that. It's like boom. Let's see how that looks. So from director Ramon Hewlett. Also I'm gonna add one more little bloom there. Have it over here, brightness, brightness at the end. Right here, so a little more. 30. Yeah, so that's doing those. Actually, I want to make this a lot slower, so I want it to like start about here. And because I want to start right here, the cool thing about After Effects or about most programs, what we're gonna do, okay, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a keyframe here for what I want because that's where it is. That's the position coordinates that it has at the moment. So then I'm going to delete that. I'm gonna drag this back over. I'm gonna drag this over here so that it starts right there, like from director Ramon Hewlett. It's like it's also gonna move really slowly down. Like do the blinking thing. And even though we added like our own bright blinking, whatever, it works. So it's almost like it's scanning, and it's like, and then the center position, I think that moves a little bit too much as well. So, man, I guess I put that about here. Click there, click over here, unclick that. So now we don't have that. Then we're gonna bring this over. And I'm gonna make all of these the brightness easy ease. So I almost don't want to make the brightness easy ease, but let's see. No, I like it because it makes it a little bit more sharp almost. So we have that, and it's like boom. It's like boom. And it's like what? And it's like boom. It's like what? And you're like from director, that dude can direct stuff. Look at that. He made that lens flare. Boom, boom. Okay, last thing that we're gonna do, maybe last thing. I ramble. So we're gonna come into optical flares options, okay? And we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of a texture because you know it kind of looks like it's space or whatever. So we want people can assume what they want to assume. You know, a texture image. Let's make it DAG. What does DAG look like? DAG. It's give it a minute. Okay, so DAG. We have DAG. That looks okay. Um, Now I'm gonna bring the brightness down to where we barely see it, like DAG. You know, so like it'll be really subtle. And the scale. I'm gonna bring the scale down. Oh, it's a small image, so we have that. And click OK. And we can kind of see like how DAG is looking. It gives us like a little bit of an insight into the world there. And a couple more things. A couple more things I want to do. This background image here, I want this to have a ramp, gradient ramp, generate gradient ramp. So boom, it's gonna look all ugly. Yep, see. So I want it to be, let's go like a red, or like a dark red, like a that red, right? And then over here make this like black, not black, but okay, no, we are gonna make that black. But we're not gonna make this as red. I just give it a little bit of like color, right? So it's gonna come down to like from right to remote. You know, just give it a little color, you know, like with and without. Okay, wait. Without, with. I like it. Boom. A tilt key. Boom. From Break Harmonia. What? Next time on I need a name for this tutorial series. Or next time on uh making cool stuff with Ramon.com. Alright, and we're out.